Hi everybody, and welcome back to Lost Genre Reddit Stories. This post is from the subreddit Am I the A-hole, and it's from user Out of Home. Am I the a-hole for making my sister leave my house after her joke about my son's mom leaving again? My son Jack is going to be 2 soon. His mom Annie has a complicated history and how this all happened. Her husband passed away, and 3 months after that, we slept together. We were barely friends at the time, so I didn't know until after our first night together that she'd recently become a widow. But she told me she was really lonely and just enjoyed that physical connection. So for about 8 months, that's how it was. Didn't see each other too often. Then we found out she was pregnant. She wanted to go through with the pregnancy, and I fully supported her if that was what she wanted. The thing was, she still had a lot of grief, and when my son was born, it was hard for her to connect with him. She said she felt guilty having a baby with another man after losing her husband. By the time Jack was 4 months, she hadn't gotten any better and her mental health completely deteriorated. I took over with him full time after this since she wasn't in the best place to be a mother. Annie still visited a few days out of the week for a short period, but I was doing most of the childcare while she went to therapy. Then she was in the hospital for a while. She couldn't come over much during COVID except for video chats, so she's essentially become a stranger to him. 3 months ago, she started coming around more after not seeing him for a while. She's on antidepressants and therapies helped her a lot. Now she's more set on being a mom and we're slowly reintroducing him to her. My sister hasn't been happy about this. I know she's upset on my behalf as I struggled a bit as a single parent. She knows the situation that happened with her, but still thinks she shouldn't be allowed back into Jack's life after abandoning him. And yeah, I get her feelings, but since Annie's in a better place mentally, then I want to give a shot at Jack having a mom around. I still have my guard up obviously, and we're taking it one day at a time, but I see how different she is with him now. My sister hasn't stopped making comments, no matter how many times I've told her to knock it off. She dropped by unannounced when Annie was here and was very openly hostile right in front of Jack. Annie offered to leave, and then my sister jokes, "Make sure you come back this time." I told her to leave and not come back until she can act right with the mother of my child. My sister is offended that I'm taking her side by kicking her out of my house, since she's only angry on my behalf and it was a joke she made. That's why she thinks I'm an a-hole. For me, I was thinking I'd rather get her out as soon as possible before saying something else in front of my son. Was I being an a-hole? Opie, in my opinion, no, you weren't being the a-hole. You had asked her repeated times to stop doing that, but she continued. And her trying to pass a crappy comment as a joke, that's not an excuse or a valid argument. Unless everybody else in the room started laughing, it wasn't a joke. You don't mention it in your post, but my question would be, what kind of role did your sister take in Jack's life when his mom was getting treatment for her mental health issues? Because if she did take like a motherly role, then I don't think it's because she's offended on your behalf. I think she's jealous and feels displaced. And on this point, she claims to be offended on your behalf. Are you offended? Because if you're not and you actually want to get them to have a relationship, then your sister is way off base here. Anyways, OP, again, you are not the a-hole and I think what you're doing is great, allowing for the mother of your child to have a relationship with her son. And what do you guys think? What is your judgment in this situation? Let me know in the comment section, and now let's move on to the community comments to see their judgment. Equivalent B6717 says, no a-holes here. Look, you have to be good and meek for the sake of your son's health and stability. Your sister doesn't have to live by that standard, and frankly, she was there while your baby mama wasn't. I'm sure your sister is pissed and feeling defensive of her family and completely untrusting of this woman. Again, you may have the ability to trust her, but your sister doesn't have to. And it's not like she was screaming or name-calling. She was being snide, although she was sort of speaking the truth. To be honest, baby mama should realize she's gonna be subjected to a bit of side-eye until she can prove herself. Good on you for accepting her back with grace, but don't be so quick to defend her that you destroy the relationships you have with all the people who have actually loved you through this and have actually been there for your son. And OP responds, My sister wasn't there. Sure, her and my family visited from time to time, but that's about it. She was still being hostile in front of my son and being completely rude before she made that comment. Sure, she doesn't have to live by that standard, but in that case, I don't want her in my house. Few C Worthiness 148 says, "You are the a-hole. Your sister has a right to be angry. Your wife just upped and left her baby behind cause her mental health wasn't good? She slept with a guy 3 months since husband's passing and got pregnant. Not to mention, didn't disclose to the guy she slept with that she's a recent widow. If you were my brother, I'd be worried too, not gonna lie." And OP responds, "She's not my wife. If you don't take mental health seriously, then I sure hope no one in your life ever suffers from it, or at least doesn't look to you for support. It's a very serious thing she needed help with because I saw how badly it was affecting the home life with my son." Visual Currency 7578 says, "I'm gonna take a stab in the dark, but I get the feeling you and your sister are close. I also get the impression that your sister was also there to help you through the last 2 years. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if the sister has a combo of anger for you, but also fear of being replaced in your child's world. But what she's doing isn't right, helpful, or supportive, not the a-hole." And OP responds, "Close, yes, but it was mostly myself with my son. Usually my family and my sister would come by once or twice a week for a visit. But I understand how it looks to someone on the outside with her not being present even though she was getting the help she needed." More information from OP's comments. "I've just wanted to look out for my son. Both my parents were very petty and horrible to each other, and I don't want him growing up with that same dynamic. Especially when Annie's shown how much therapy and meds have helped her, and we both care about him. No matter how it happened, it was brutal seeing her in that dark place and wasn't at all good for Jack or her. Things have been better now and don't want any more obstacles in the way of this process. Even when in the hospital, she called constantly to ask about Jack. Never had any doubts that she didn't care about him because I saw how much she beat herself up for getting too overwhelmed or not feeling as connected with him as she thought she should. I know she's making an effort, and that's why I want to make this work for his sake." We're not going to hide why she couldn't be around as much when he was an infant. There's no reason to lie about how things came to happen. Of course, we'll tell him in an age-appropriate manner if he ever asks why and be more open about it as he gets older. Great co-parents is what I'm hoping we can become in the future. We both want our son to have the best. It might have been unexpected, but I don't regret having him in my life and she doesn't either. Both just want to do right by him. So, regarding my sister, she can't come back until she learns to be respectful or keep her mouth shut, because this isn't the first time she says something and I don't want Jack to be hearing this. Well, it sounds like the community was kind of split there in the judgment, and that first commenter, I don't know about you guys, but I kind of thought that might have been the sister. I don't know, just putting it out there. Regardless, now that we've got more context, it's time to move on with the update to see what happened after this. Appreciate all the words and advice in my last post. There has been some new changes regarding the situation that happened before with my sister and Annie, so I decided to leave a little update. Many of you were right about my sister's negativity possibly affecting the relationship between Annie and Jack. It's also reassuring to know that we were making the right call here. The last thing I wanted was to make Annie feel bad for things that were out of her control. At first, when I talked to my sister, we got nowhere. I even brought up what some of you said here. Would she feel the same if Annie had been in the hospital getting treatment for cancer or some other physical disease or illness? My sister claimed that's not the same thing, and we had to have a deeper conversation on why it is exactly the same thing. Annie was not in the right place mentally to be a fit parent and decided to get help. There was no need for her hostility towards Annie now that she's gotten the treatment she needs and we're taking steps to bring her back into Jack's life. My sister and I still didn't see eye to eye, so that's when I made the decision that she wouldn't be allowed around us for a while and stuck with the same condition I made in my original post. We didn't talk for almost 2 months. Then I guess my sister finally realized I wasn't gonna budge, so she agreed she'd be nicer to Annie and won't talk badly about her in front of Jack. I thought this meant things would turn around, but unfortunately, it didn't end that way. After giving her a second chance, she still couldn't hold back from sending a message to Annie, letting her know she's only doing this for me, but she will never be okay with her. Called her a terrible mother, among other things. She was counting on Annie not to show me this since it would cost her son his aunt, as it said in her message. Oh yeah, I was pissed. Another talk with her later, I decided she's not having any contact with us at all. As much as it pains me, I can't have that kind of negativity around my son or his mother. Their relationship has been rebuilding nicely, and this is a crucial time for all of us. We don't need the extra drama. Annie has only been in communication with her mom, who's currently in New Zealand, and has been pretty supportive of her. I've chatted with her many times so she could meet her grandson via Zoom. I'm not sure if Annie's spoken to her late husband's family. I know they weren't happy when we found out she was pregnant, but I don't know if she'd reached out yet. I'm very glad she did too. She almost didn't, but she knows we have to be completely open with each other about everything to make it work with Jack. Becoming a dad was stressful and overwhelming for me, something that's permanently changed my entire life. For Annie, it was losing her husband on top of the pregnancy, on top of hormones, on top of grief. I don't know how I would have managed in her shoes. She's so much better now. I'm really happy with the progress she's made and getting to watch them bond. On a positive note, Jack has really warmed up to his mom, and it's a beautiful sight to see. I'm happy Annie is getting somewhere with him, and they seem to be getting closer every day. So not all bad news, right? We're still taking things one day at a time, but honestly, there's been so much progress. I don't think I've ever seen Annie that happy and content than when they're having their playtime in the living room. Thanks again, Reddit, for the help. You guys really helped ease my mind with this situation. At least don't feel like an a-hole anymore for making the right choice. Well done, OP. This is going to cost your son his aunt. Good riddance to you, Auntie. It's great to know that Annie and Jack are bonding. Keep it up, OP. Thanks for sharing, and take care. And now we move on to the next post. This post is from the subreddit Malicious Compliance, and it's by user Reverend Bull. Student malicious complianced me, and I couldn't be prouder. I used to teach Intro to College courses, freshman sessions where we'd go over study skills and campus resources and how not to drive yourself nuts. Fun class to teach, especially for me. I love deconstructing classroom norms. I usually started every semester in street clothes with a backpack, hiding among the students and complaining about the late professor. Once, for an exam, I offered the students any resources they wanted. After all, I had made the test to be about interpreting information rather than memorizing it. Bloom's taxonomy, don't you know? If they could look up a term, they'd be able to better reason their way around it. Most brought books and notes. A few brought laptops and note cards, etc. One student, however, came to my office hours right before class. Mr. OP, what can I do for you? If I don't have access to a resource, you'll help us find it, right? Like in that library literacy unit we did. Me not catching on yet. Of course, that's what I'm here for. And you said we can have any resource we wanted for the test, right? Me, thinking nothing of it, expecting open book assurances or the like. Yep, that's what I put in the syllabus. What are you thinking? And he says, great, I'd like the answer key to the test, please. I had to take a second and then just grinned, proud as can be. I'd pushed them all semester to think outside the box and carve their own way. And this audacious little punk came up with the perfect plan. He got his answer key, and because I had also allowed group work, the whole class got it. Luckily, most of the tests was measured more on rubrics, e.g. short answer responses as opposed to multiple choice. So, they still had to come up with a way to phrase it in their own words. Oh, I loved this story. It was so cool. That kid actually applied everything he learned in that same class. That's awesome. Thanks for sharing, OP. This post is from the subreddit Malicious Compliance, and it's by user RBClark47. Can't use my airline flying points for myself? Fine, I'll leave. A friend of mine in a semiconductor manufacturing company was one of the hotshot marketing and application engineers. On his own, he put together a series of seminars to show prospective users and customers the benefits of using a bunch of the company's integrated circuits in their designs. He went on to make short half-hour videos that could be viewed online. The company signed a contract with him that stated they were his property. The company was acquired by a megacorp, and their legal people evidently signed off on his contracts as well. Cue malicious compliance. He was a big man, 6'2" tall, 230 pounds, and in his late 50s. Also, had a condition that caused a considerable amount of joint pain. His job required him to fly at least once a month, but because of the frequency, he could upgrade to business class or better, and the extra room helped him with the pain of traveling. The company American Airlines card was used for all travel, and his new 30s manager decided that the company owned his frequent flyer miles and he couldn't use them to upgrade. This got rather heated and the manager wouldn't back down. So the company offered early retirement to certain people over 59 who'd been with them for more than X amount of years. My friend stepped up and got a bonus, and 2 days before the end deleted all the videos. And he gave them a copy of the contract reminding them they were his property, also stating the company couldn't restore them from backups and used them. Several months later, he ended up contracting for his former company, introducing his videos online and answering questions afterwards. I'm sure he was very happy with this arrangement. No travel, no boss hassles, and a nice check for each time he did it. Well, good for your friend, OP. That manager's an idiot. Like really, why does it matter if he uses those miles? It surely has no impact on the P&L, so, again, idiot manager. And it's that time that we've reached the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed today's stories. I really did enjoy reading them to you. So if you did, then don't be shy and go ahead and give the video a like. And don't forget to subscribe or even share this video with people that you might think will enjoy my storytelling. Also, if you have the time, go down to the video description and check out all the links I have for you, from our Discord community to my channel merch. And finally, I'd like to say thank you for watching. It really means a lot to me that you enjoy my videos. And having said all that, I'll see you guys in the next video.